Hello, this is Kit, and today I'm making a Hulk t-shirt for my toddler to wear at Halloween. I purchased a t-shirt pattern for $3 at the store, but I also found that there's plenty of free online patterns that can be printed and pasted together, so you can use one of those. For this pattern, rather than cutting out the pattern and tracing it, I'm using transfer paper to get the pattern onto the fabric for cutting. You can see I'm preparing for that here. The yellow transfer paper I'm using is really hard to see on the camera, pretty much impossible to see on the camera, and it was also pretty hard to see in real life. There's 4 pieces that I'm cutting, so right now I'm laying out the sleeve. I've already cut out the front of the shirt, was cut out symmetrically at the fold, same as the back of the shirt, and I'm tracing in the sleeves right now, and the other piece will be the neckband. In this video, I did skip over the tracing of the front and the back of the shirt because it really wasn't all that necessary to see. It is also getting ahead of myself, but I actually ended up having to improvise a neckband. I decided to get fleece fabric for this project, mostly because it's really warm and we're talking about the end of October where we live. But the pattern is designed for a stretching fabric, at least at the neck. I'll show later in the next video how I changed things to accommodate this non-stretching fabric, but I ended up cutting out a neckband, and it wasn't really something that I ought to have done. So here I am doing the cutting out, and I'm moving very, very quickly because you'll see sometimes a nap time project turns into a false nap time project. My toddler at this point decided he didn't want to be asleep. I should have just started over, frankly. Really should have done that, especially as you'll see toward the end of this. But instead, I decided to try and quickly cut out the pieces. That's because the yellow was really hard to see, and I knew if I moved the project, I'd never be able to follow those lines again. You'll see some little feet appear shortly, and his great fun at getting hold of my silver sewing scissors. So I'm cutting like crazy, trying to get all of these pieces out, trying to see where all of the yellow went. At a point, I just stopped really caring where I had those, the notches, and just wanted to get this done. So using a straight edge for that neckband, which again, didn't really matter in the end. And my toddler is all over the place with me cutting and grabbing scissors and everything else. Anyways, bad mom. Later, when he was actually napping, I went back and cut over the front piece to make a second piece. I'm creating muscles in the chest of this shirt. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm tracing over that front piece onto another piece of the grain fabric. Not that it mattered that it was green. I just had enough left to make it out of the same grain fabric. I'm creating muscles, as I said. So after this, I'm cutting out the batting in the same shape as the front of the shirt. And I'm also going to cut out the batting in the shape of the sleeves. For the sleeves, I wanted to also have a second piece to stitch through just to stabilize things. And I actually ended up cutting that out of spare fabric that I had because I didn't have enough green to really make those sleeves work. And this is about when we get to the end of part 1. And you'll want to stay tuned for the rest of the build in the next video where I start doing some of those muscles and start assembling the shirt itself.